Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to do the corner to corner, how to crochet from one corner to another corner. Okay, I made a dishcloth a while back and I have a video, so if you want to make a dishcloth like this, check out that video. But in that video basically I did the corner to corner stitch, and so I'm going to be diving a little bit deeper for those of you who need more help learning how to do corner to corner. I've heard from countless people that a lot of the tutorials on YouTube have been unclear, and it wasn't until they came across my video that they really understood the corner to corner pattern. So I figured I would make a video specifically dedicated to corner to corner. Let's get to it. Alright, so since this is just a tutorial on how to teach you the corner to corner, you don't need to be super strict when it comes to which yarn you use and even the size hook. Although if you are curious, I'm using a medium 4 and I'm using white so that you guys can see it. And I'm also going to use a size H hook, which is 5 millimeters. So with the corner to corner, you want to start out with a slip knot. And I make my slip knot like this. Okay, then I wrap that over, and then I pull this over that, like that, and I pull up, leaving a loop, and that's where I'm going to insert my crochet hook. Now I'll pull to close the loop, and now I'm ready to begin. So when you're doing the corner to corner, you have these things called increases and decreases. I like to call the decrease sides the maintaining side, and I'll explain that later. But what's important to know is that whenever you need to increase, you start out with chaining 6. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So I have 6 chains. So there are 2 ways that you can look at this. You can look at the perspective of the chain from the hook, or you can just count the chains starting from this end. So let's say we say, okay, you're going to put your first stitch in the 4th chain from the hook. Well, here's our hook. That right there is the first chain. So that's the first chain from the hook. That would be the 2nd chain from the hook. 1, 2. That's the 3rd chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3. And the 4th chain from the hook is that next one right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hook. Alright, so we're going to put our first stitch in that chain, that 4th chain from the hook. Another way to look at it, as I was just saying, is that you can count from here and you can count 3 up. So starting with that first chain you made, that's 1. The 2nd chain you made is 2. And the 3rd chain that you made is 3. The 3rd chain up is the same as the 4th chain from the hook because we crochet 6 chains. Okay, so either way you want to look at it is fine. Just know that we need to put our first stitch in that chain right there. Alright, we're going to make the double crochet. So the double crochet, you yarn over first and then you go into the stitch. So let's go into that chain like that, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. This leaves us with 2 more chains that we're going to crochet into. There's 1 and there's 1. And we're just going to put a double crochet into each of those 2 remaining chains. So yarn over, go into the next chain. You can split it like that. Just put 1 loop over your hook like that. Yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. 1 more double crochet, yarn over. Let's go into this last chain. Let's go right through the center like that. 1 loop, yarn over, pull through to the front, We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, go through 2, and yarn over, go through 2. Alright, so this was row 1. We just created a block out of thin air essentially, right? And we did so by chaining out 6, putting our first double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook or the 3rd chain up, and then putting 1 double crochet into each of the remaining 2 chains. Alright, so this is what a lot of people like to call a block. I will oftentimes refer to it as a step, and you'll see why as we get a little bit further with this, because it's almost like you're stepping up. And so that's row 1. Moving on to row 2, we're increasing. So we don't just want to have 1 block, right? We want this to expand, so we're increasing. And for right now, we're increasing on both sides. We're increasing on this edge because we want to get taller, and we're increasing on this side because we want it to get wider as well. Remember I said that whenever you increase when doing the corner to corner, you have to chain 6. So that's what we're going to start out with. Chaining 6. 1, 2, 3. And I can put my finger there on that 3rd chain because that's the chain that I'm going to go into. That's the chain I'm going to put my first double crochet into. Remember, it's the 3rd chain up or the 4th chain from the hook after we crochet all 6 chains. So what I like to do is I usually like to, after I crochet that 3rd chain, put my thumb on it and then finish crocheting the rest of my 6. So I chain 3, now 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over because it's a double crochet. And then my thumb is already on the chain that I am going into, so that's easy. That's why I like to mark it with my thumb as I'm crocheting. Alright, now I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Once again, I have 2 remaining chains, 1 there and 1 there, and I'm going to put a double crochet in each of them. And then the last one. Okay. So I just created another block. Now, if you look at this, you can tell this is the front side. Obviously, we just crocheted it. If you look at this one, that also is the front side. That looks like that in terms of the stitches. But what we always want to look at is the bottom should be the back side. So we want to turn that like that. And see how the back side looks different than the front side? Just the arrangement of the loops and everything. Just as you guys get more and more experience crocheting, this will clearly look like the back side to you, as opposed to this, which is the front side. Okay, so when you crochet that block, that first block of the row, you're going to be faced with, no pun intended, the front side and the front side. It's going to be front, front. You want front, back. So just turn it and hold it like that. Okay? So back, front. Now this chain 3 space over here, that's where we're going to slip stitch into. Okay? So we want to connect. So the way we do that is we slip stitch, we just insert our hook into that chain 3 space, yarn over, pull through, and then pull all the way through. So that's the block. Now we're going to chain 3 to step up. So 1, 2, 3, and then in this chain 3 space we're going to put 3 double crochets. So yarn over, go into that space, that chain 3 space, yarn over, pull through to the front. We have 3 loops. yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and do 2 more of those. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go into the chain 3 space, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay. Row 2 has 1, 2 blocks. Okay, so we have increased this starting block. It got taller and it got wider. That's what we want. Let's do row 3. And as you're starting out your pattern, before you start to decrease or maintain on any edge, the row number will correspond to the number of blocks that you have. So this had 1 block, that's row 1. This has 1, 2 blocks, so this is row 2. The next row that we're about to complete is row 3, and that's going to have 3 blocks. Remember, we're still increasing because we want this to get taller and we want this to also get wider. So we need to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, hold, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yarn over, go into the chain that we held, which is there, and put our first double crochet. All right. In the 2 remaining chains, one there, put 1 double crochet in each one. And right there. Okay. So remember, once you complete that block, you're going to be looking at front, front. We want to be looking at front, back, or back, front. The bottom should be the back. So right now, the way this is arranged, this is the bottom, right? Here's the top, this is the bottom. Top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. So top, we want to look at the front. The bottom, B for bottom, B for back. You want to look at the back. So turn that and hold it. Now, what we always want to do is connect. The way we connect is with a slip stitch going into this chain 3 space. So we'll insert our hook into the chain 3 space, yarn over, pull all the way through. Now we're going to chain 3, which I like to call stepping up. 1, 2, 3. And remember, in the chain 3 space that we slip stitched into just then, we're going to put 3 double crochets. So that's 1, that's 2, 1 more, and that's 3. All right, so we've created 1 block, 2 block, we have 1 more block. When you're at this point, you know you need to connect. And you want to feel around for that next chain 3 space, because whenever you need to connect, you know, okay, there's a chain 3 space somewhere. There it is. So to connect, I slip stitch into the chain 3 space by inserting my crochet hook into the hole, yarn over, pull through, and pull all the way through. Now, if we were maintaining this, say we didn't want to put another block up here, we would do something different. We would start to work our way back there. But we said that we're going to have 3 blocks, 1, 2, so we need 1 more. And we're still increasing. So that's also an indication that we need another block. So you slip stitch into the chain 3 space. Now we're going to step up by chaining 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then in that same chain 3 space, we're going to put 3 double crochets. Okay. 1 more. All right, and we have 3 blocks for row 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so as you see, we have started at 1 corner, and by the time we finish this little square, we will end at another corner. Okay, that's why it's called corner to corner. Let's chain 6 because we're still increasing. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over. We'll go into that chain, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the 2 remaining chains. Like that. Remember, right now we're looking at front. This is the bottom, so we want to look at the back, so we turn it. So we're looking at the front, back. Now it's time to connect. So we'll find that chain 3 space, there it is, and slip stitch into it. Step up, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we put 3 double crochets into that same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Connect by finding the next chain 3 space. There it is. Put our crochet hook through the hole, that chain 3 space, yarn over, and slip stitch. Step up by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Put 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space. Okay. We need to connect, find the next chain 3 space, which is there. Yarn over, and slip stitch. Step up by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Put 3 double crochets into that final chain 3 space there to create our final block. And I usually refer to that as filling the step in. Fill it in, I will say. Fill it in, step up, fill it in. Okay, so we just completed row 4. Row 4 had 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Row 3 had 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3. Row 2 had 2 blocks, 1, 2, and row 1 had 1 block right there, 1. All right, let's close this up now. So we no longer want to get any taller, and we also no longer want to get any wider, okay? So we're done with the chain 6s. Remember that we chain 6 when we want to increase. We no longer want to increase. We only want to decrease, as you will hear a lot of people say, or maintain. I say maintain because we're going to be maintaining that edge, but we're also going to be maintaining this edge. People will say that you're decreasing because you're not increasing, but yeah, I mean, they're one and the same. It's just semantics, okay? The point is, this is what you're going to do when you're no longer increasing, okay? So I like to chain 1. Some people don't chain first, but I like to chain 1 and then turn my work because I want to go back this way now. And I like to slip stitch my way back across into every stitch. So here, you have your 3 double crochets that you just made. So I'm going to go on the tops of them, slice the icing, and just slip stitch. So yarn over, and then go all the way through. Next stitch, go into the top, like that, yarn over, and go all the way through. Next one, go to the top of that last double crochet like that, yarn over, and go all the way through. And then when you get to this chain 3, you're going to slip stitch into the chain 3 space like normal. Remember, we usually do that when it's time to connect. Okay, so we did 4 slip stitches, and now we're ready to make some steps. So you step up by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we fill in the step by putting 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so instead of creating another block over here, we chained 1, turned our work, and we slip stitched back across because we didn't want to go out any further. We wanted instead to make our way back in and start to fill in these missing blocks. Alright, so now this is like we've been doing, connect, but in order to connect you must have a chain 3 space. Oh, there it is. Okay, insert your hook, yarn over, and go all the way through. Step up by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3. Fill in the step by putting 3 double crochet into the same chain 3 space. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. This is the fun part, and it's quick too. Alright, we're going to connect, but we need a chain 3 space. There it is. Slip stitch into it. Step up by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3. Fill it in by putting 3 double crochets into that same chain 3 space that we slip stitched into. And all of this is just repetition at this point. Okay, that's why I'm moving faster. Okay. Now we want to connect. We need to find a chain 3 space. There it is. So as per usual, we insert a hook, yarn over, and slip stitch into it. Now if we were still increasing, we would put another block up here, right? Making this taller. But remember, we're done with expanding this. We're just trying to fill in the remaining blocks. Because we maintained on this edge and we're also maintaining on this edge, you see that this row now only has 3 blocks. 1, 2, 3. And that's exactly what we want. The next row will have 2 blocks, 1, 2, and then the final row will have 1 block, 1. And that'll be the final corner. Okay? So, because we're no longer increasing, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and slip stitch our way back across. It'll be a total of 4 slip stitches. 1 into each of these 3 double crochets, the tops of them, and then 1 into that chain 3 space. So, yarn over and pull all the way through. That's the way you slip stitch. And the next double crochet, yarn over, pull all the way through. Final double crochet, yarn over, pull all the way through. Chain 3 space, like normal. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull all the way through. Now we're going to chain 3 to step up. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to fill in that step by putting 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space that we just slip stitched into. Okay, so we maintained this edge, it didn't get any wider, and we've maintained that edge, it didn't get any taller. So let's continue. Alright, so to connect, we're going to find the chain 3 space, slip stitch into it. Now step up, 1, 2, 3. Fill in that chain 3 space by putting 3 double crochet into it. 1, 2, and 3. Now it's time to connect. Find the chain 3 space. Oh, there it is. Slip stitch into it. Okay. So we just completed that row and it only had 2 blocks. 1, 2. This is that final block. And it's the final row. And we will have our square. So instead of chaining 6, because we don't want some random block out there, right? We want to make our way back here. We chain 1, turn our work, and slip stitch back across into the 3 double crochets first. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And then the last one goes into that chain 3 space. that's 4. Now to create our final block, we're going to step up by chaining 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to fill it in by putting 3 double crochets into that same chain 3 space that we just slip stitched into. 1, 2, and 3. The last thing that we need to do is connect, but we know in order to connect we need a chain 3 space to slip stitch into. Oh, no problem, there it is right there. Connect, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and all the way through. Okay, at this point you can chain 1, and depending on what you're doing you can slip stitch back to the corner, but it's not really necessary unless you're just used to ending in the corner. You can chain 1 and cut your yarn, fasten off like that, and then weave in your tails. Okay, so what we just did was corner to corner, and we just made a square. Okay, so we started at one corner, hence the tail there, and we essentially ended at this corner. Alright, so we started at one corner, which is this tail. Row 1 had 1 block, row 2 had 2 blocks, 1, 2, row 3 had 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, row 4 had 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at that point we started to maintain the edges, meaning we didn't let that get any taller and we didn't let that get any wider. So the number of blocks started to decrease at that point. So the next row we had 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3 instead of 5. The next row we had 2, 1, 2, and then the final row we had 1 block, 1. Okay, so this essentially is corner to corner. You will see some variations depending on whose video you're watching, but this really is the basics of the corner to corner. Chaining out 6 when you need to increase and create a block, okay, and chaining 1 and slip stitching across when you need to maintain. Now you can make different things. You can make scarves, you can make baby blankets, you can make pot holders, you can make dish rags, you can make hats even. You can make so many different things using the corner to corner stitch. And what will determine if it's a square or a rectangle is how you're managing the increases and decreases on each edge. For instance, I increased on both edges at the same time and I decreased on both edges at the same time, which left me with the square. With the dish rag that I showed you earlier, this is more of a rectangle, okay, because I increased up until a certain point on both edges, but then on one edge I increased for one more row while I started to decrease on the other side. So that's what made this side a little bit shorter than that edge. So these edges are a little bit shorter than those edges, and that is what gave me that slightly rectangular shape. With this scarf I made, I increased at the same time, but then at some point I started to maintain one edge while I continued to increase on the other edge, and it gave me this super long scarf. And then once I reached a satisfactory length, I started to decrease on the other side, and I closed it up. It closed up as such, okay? So you can very easily, by knowing the basics, what to do when you're increasing an edge, what to do when you're maintaining or decreasing an edge, make anything you want. Just measure out how tall or wide you want it, and once you achieve that, then you can start to decrease, okay? And then ultimately, as in the case with the scarf especially, once you have not only the desired width, which you started to decrease or maintain, but then you also have the desired length, then that means at that point you're just decreasing on both edges, because at that point you're trying to just fill in the remaining blocks, okay? By the way, if you're wondering what's happening with the blocks when you're maintaining one side but increasing another, how many blocks are you getting per row? At that point, you're just maintaining the blocks. So let's go back to this one. Let's say for row 4 I had 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I was increasing one edge, say to make this longer, but maintaining the other, then that next row would also have 4. And the next row would have 4, and so on. If I kept doing that, I would maintain 4 blocks until I started to decrease on both edges. When you decrease on both edges, then the number of blocks also decrease. So that would be when I would start to move to 3 blocks, and then 2 blocks, and then 1 block, okay? So if you're increasing on both sides, on both edges, then you're increasing blocks. If you're increasing on one edge but maintaining or decreasing on the other, then you're maintaining the number of blocks. If you are decreasing on both edges, then you are decreasing the number of blocks, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully this tutorial has been informative. Please let me know if you don't understand, and I will make another video or try to answer your question in the comments. That is it for this video. Guys, just get out there, do some C2C. It is such a fun pattern. It's so fun, and it goes by really quickly. And then once you master the C2C, you can make so many different things and start to incorporate different colors and actual like patterns where you have like, you know, maybe a solid white with like a heart in the center, you know, little cool things like that. I haven't done any of those videos yet because I just want you guys to master the C2C, the corner to corner pattern first, but all in due time. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Happy crocheting!